Hello and welcome to another episode. In this one, I talk to a one man company that generates $14,000 a month, and his name is Philip Young. He is somebody that's been a tremendous inspiration to me because I want to achieve the things that Philip has done in the way he's done it. And I can't say enough good things about him. In this episode, we break down how he made his money, how he built his app, how he functions on ADHD despite it all, and his story, and so much more. I found so much value in this, and for the entrepreneurs out there, I think you guys would love this episode because he provides a different take to entrepreneurship than the conventional raise VC capital and whatnot. Um, and yeah, highly recommend if you're an entrepreneur. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And cheers. Imagine on your refrigerator, okay, you had a portal, okay, and in the portal you could see any moment in time of your past. Like, what moments would you want to see?
In the past.
Yeah. Like, imagine your life was a trailer,
uh,
and you could just see it, like, and you can see the highlights. What would you see?
Probably back when I used to want something, but I already now I have it.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like you achieved all your dreams. Like when you were wishing in the past.
yeah, because I never thought like at the time I like to go to Apple Store just to
Mm-hmm.
see the computer, the phone. And no, there's not an iPhone at the time. It's just
Okay.
like I couldn't ever bought any of this. Like I also like to see houses, and I couldn't afford this, but right now I can. Probably that maybe like there's a saying like remember when you remember when you want what you don't have, or have you ever heard something similar like that?
I have heard something similar to be sort of remind you of what you have and also like be grateful for it as well, you know?
Yeah,
Because now that I think about it, I wonder what are the things I have achieved that my previous self would have been really
yeah,
proud
you're
of.
making podcast right now. It's a
I'm
hard
making the
thing, right?
broadcast right now. I'm learning to code. I am a designer now. And
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's also
amazing.
like the state of mind I'm in now is just so much better than I was when I was a kid. I was such a fucked up kid, like so traumatized. But I improved a lot over the years, and I'm pretty happy
Asian
with that.
parents, right?
Absolutely, like that'd be the top of the list.
Yeah, white people
Uh,
don't understand.
do you have any funny moments from your childhood that you remember?
Funny moments when I was a kid.
Yeah,
No, I don't think I remember any. I guess my life is pretty straightforward. There's nothing weird.
fair enough, fair enough. But like,
What about
okay,
you?
for me, man, where to start? When oh man, like Diwali. So right now it's Diwali in India, right? One memory that does pop into mind is when I was a kid. We used to have so many fireworks, right? And the kids across the street also used to have a lot of fireworks, and we hated each other. And what we would do in Diwali is basically like set fireworks on each other. So imagine like a rocket, instead of going up, it would go to the other street, and we would have like a firework war, if you will, on the streets. And it used to be so funny. And because like nobody would get burnt, like surprisingly, but it was just so fun. Like where you'd run and like smack into your friend by accident. But when I say it out loud, it was more of an adventurous story than a funny story. I can't recall the funny ones, but like that's the one that pops up into my head the most.
Do anyone get hurt?
No, I do remember like getting hurt in the most pathetic way possible. So we have these, sparklers. There's
Yeah,
like an iron rod, and then the thing is on it. So they're hot, right? So when I stood on one of them, And I never, when I was a kid, I never used to like wearing clothes, and I used to just walk around naked all the time. And I stood on one of those, and since that day, I freaking like always wore shoes and everything. It was like
Wow, that's
so.
crazy.
Yeah, like my time in India was quite crazy, and but yeah, like I resonate with the Asian parent trauma, dude. What was your main thing that you got trauma
The discussion moved to another thing now. No, I don't think there's no trauma at all. Actually, my parent is fine, but maybe
from?
it's Asian parents are strict, right?
Yeah, the pressure.
Yeah. So from a young age, I never get any money, like pocket money.
Hmm.
So I used to often just like um, see my friends like have some pocket monies and buy things from the cafeteria, and I really envy it.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
so.
I just
I,
remember
I,
that.
I
So yeah,
yeah. Go on, go on.
because my parents like to always bring me. I don't know how to say it in English, like food from home.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they never thought I need any money from that. And I remember when you say one thing that I remember from my childhood.
Hmm.
One day my mom doesn't have any time and give me money to go to the
Hmm.
cafeteria.
You're right.
And then I remember I bought a bottled mineral water,
Uh huh.
a cold one, because we don't have a cold dispenser water at home, and it's a luxury for me.
Oh,
The cold a cold bottled water, and I remember when I opened it, I kicked a rock or something, and then I fell down,
oh
and then
no.
I fell really hard, and I remember I couldn't breathe properly, and I see the water in front of my eyes, like falling
Oh,
down slowly. That's a
damn.
vivid memory. And after that, somebody on the cafeteria tried to help me,
Uh huh.
but because I fell so hard, I couldn't say anything. I just like no, 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 and then I point at the water, and then they like confused. But after that, they understand, so they correctly put the water, and then they help me.
Till the end, you just wanted that bottle of water.
Yeah, I don't know why suddenly I remember that story.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you just, I don't know, like when you're a kid, right? There are
Yeah.
things that get imprinted onto you that you cannot forget. I don't know why that's the case, but it's just one of those black and white pictures, where you can just see it in your childhood. You remind me of another one actually, where I remember scoring my first goal when I was a kid. Like I couldn't,
Soccer.
yeah, like football. And I remember that even to this day so clearly in a black and white frame in my head. It's like my brain like captured this moment. Okay, before you die, you will see this picture for sure. And it's I don't know why the brain does that, but like we do remember these things, especially if they're like I guess when you're in a very heightened sense of emotions. Like for you, you were falling, and this luxury bottle of water was just
Yeah.
there. And look at you now buying an iPhone. But man, like what enabled actually like I wanted to circle back a little bit. Like you learned to code by yourself. And I want to understand like how you did that by yourself. Like what did you study? Like how did you go about it? Like just give me an insight into that process because I know I'm going through something similar. And I think it'll help a lot of people that are in the same boat as you.
Yeah. So at the time, I went to marketing college because my parent came from a Chinese background, right?
Hmm.
And they are immigrant in Indonesia. Like I believe there's also Chinese communities in India, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There.
and there's also a lot of Indian communities in overseas.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So because of that, there's not a lot of job opportunities for immigrants.
Hmm.
because of that, particularly in Indonesia, the only way we can make money is to do business.
Mm-hmm.
So my parents told me to go to business college, but actually my passion is in design.
Yeah.
So when I have to go to the marketing college, oh, did you hear a thunder?
Is that the thunder?
Yeah. No, never
Is
mind.
that the rain? The
So
thunder?
yeah, it's near.
Wow, that sounded incredible. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
You saying?
yeah. Anyway, so I went to business school because I could, but actually I want to do design. So I'm going to marketing school because
Hmm.
in my mind, marketing is creating advertising, anything that to do with
Hmm.
design. But after going to marketing school, I used to do a lot of design. So I do brand identity, designing a logo, and designing like pamphlet, posters.
Hmm.
And I remember I want to make an app because it's interesting. So when I design, I design while I don't have any class, and then I
Hmm.
try to find programmer to help me to realize to make the design as a reality, right?
Hmm.
But the problem is I've tried it for a few months and almost every software engineer
Hmm.
don't want to do it because they have options.
Right.
Yeah, at the time there's nothing like an investment. There's no Uber. There's no not there. The climate is really different compared to now, and it's just starting. So I remember people that I reach out can easily go to Singapore, somewhere nearby, or overseas to work as a software engineer.
Hmm.
So there's no option for that. Okay,
So you had to learn
so
yourself.
because of that, I still focusing myself to work on design on,
Hmm.
on my design skill. And after that, I had an internship. In an internship, I remember that my life is so flat. Like I go to the office at 8, and then I go
Hmm.
back at 5, and then after that, when I arrive at home, my brain is so empty. I couldn't think of anything. The
Hmm.
only way I could recharge myself is just laying down in the bed and maybe watch some YouTube.
Damn.
After the experience, like for a month, I know exactly I don't want to do this kind of work. I don't want to work in
Hmm.
office because it's so draining.
Hmm. It is.
So,
Your
and then
life
I
is so.
decided to, yeah, I decided to Google something like how to make money, but I don't have to commute,
Yeah.
because I really hate commuting. Like the traffic
Hmm.
in Indonesia is really bad. I believe in India is also the same, right?
It's worse, probably.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because of that, I tried to Google it, and there's two things. The first one is design. The second one is programming.
Hmm.
In my mind, at the time, programming is like only for smart people. Like it's so techy. Like I'm not that smart, and my passion is in design. So at the time, I decided I want to do design, but how to make the money, right?
Right.
How do I make money from my design? So I remember there's a website called dribble.com.
Hmm.
It's a website where designers showcase their design and portfolio.
Hmm.
I immediately made an account, and then I remember people that I like the design. I message them like
Yeah.
straightforward. How do you find client,
Hmm.
and how much money do you make?
Hmm.
Maybe because it is really straightforward. Um, Not many people replied to me, but I remember when people replied to me, like they get client from Dribble.
Hmm.
So they just uploaded their design, their works, and then just let the clients approach you. At the time, I was really surprised. I didn't know you could live like that, right? So I asked him how much money could one make from doing design like this. I think he said like 40 US dollar per hour, and for me
Yeah.
that's a huge money because in Indonesia and India, I believe our minimum salary is similar, right? Like two
Yes.
hundred 200 to 300 US dollar per month.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Like it'll be a bit
so
more now, but yeah.
so
Like
$40 per hour is crazy because if you work 5 hour, you already make the minimum salary in our
yeah,
country
in one day,
in
basically.
1 day, and people make it in a month,
Yeah.
and you don't have to
Yeah.
commute to the office. You can do it straight from your home. For me, that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm with you, dude. Like as
Yeah,
somebody working remotely, I am so with you. Like,
yeah.
and it's also more
So
productive as well.
you're what? Sorry.
And it's also more productive as well.
Yeah, at home, right? Because there's no
Yeah.
distraction. You have
Yeah,
more
exactly.
energy because you don't commute.
Yeah, yeah. And then that was your first gig as a designer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thanked him at the time. So I just tried to do some design. It's still on the dribble right now. I haven't uploaded any since. But from that, I get my first client. Yeah. So and that's well, I'm still in college. I haven't graduated yet. So the story of becoming a programmer is it's real long because after that, um, I graduated from college. My friend went to, do you know Boston Consulting Group?
Yeah, yeah. BCG.
Yeah, so BCG in Indonesia at least is like a prestigious job. Like many people want to work there because the salary is high, much higher compared to the minimum salary here. So
For sure.
my friend at the time, while he was still in college, he's interning there. So now he wants to take a full time job. But while on the interview, um, the interviewer, who he know, said, why do you work here? Why don't you make your own thing? Because I'm here working in BCG and I don't have any time. Just go out and I'll fund the company. And because of that, he quit. He decided he want to make the company, invested by the people who interviewed him, and
That's
then
why.
he's making a website called Buka Pintu.
Uh-huh.
Buka Pintu, literally in English, is called open door. So it's a job platform for a student to look for a job, like fresh graduate, like us, after we graduate to college and we don't understand. So it's like career education platform. Like you, it's like a transition from a student to worker. So we interviewed people from the company to know like how is it like working for a company here, so people could imagine
Yeah.
what
What
would
is
they
like
do if they work there. Yeah.
like Glassdoor, I suppose now.
No, Asdor, I don't know. Maybe something similar because we go to the office, we take photographs of the office, we interview the people, and we make the story about the here. Because the issue is they say like fresh graduate people are like the key people
That's true.
to get because you can groom them for better or worse because they are still pure, right?
Right.
Yeah. So my friend invited me to go there to work as a designer.
Right.
I work together with him, two people, and then we outsource the programming side to an
Mm.
agency.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is the agency is really slow because I remember in the morning I do the design,
Mm.
and then at the evening we go to the agency and translated the design to the agency. The issue
Mm.
is there's a lot of inconsistencies in the design. Like the
Mm.
font size is different, the font is different, the
Yeah.
color is slightly different, the sizing is different, the spacing is different, and that's really triggers me. And it's really slow process.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I told my friend like this is taking too long. We should just cut them, and then I should learn to code
Mm.
to make this process faster. My friend
Mm.
agreed, so I'm learning as I goes. And then my friend also um, get one more engineer to come join us.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a week, after about 2 weeks or a month, we're comfortable and we just cut the agency and make everything in house. So that's my first touch point in programming.
I see. And then you just started off with HTML and CSS.
Yeah, HTML and CSS. So it's not actually programming.
Yeah.
It's more like design but with words.
Exactly. Like, have you tried Webflow?
Yeah, I tried Webflow once.
Yeah. Like when I see Webflow now that I've learned CSS, I'm looking at it as like, why did I learn that again? Because it has everything that's there, and because you can use the tool, you also understand the CSS so much more easily just by virtue of using the tool, which I found quite interesting. Um,
Yeah,
but
true.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. And when you were learning to code, like let's say the more difficult languages like JavaScript and whatnot, um, how did you create a psychological climate where you were coding, your coding was productive, like your learning was productive?
Oh, so the issue is, I think I have an ADHD.
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not because it's undiagnosed, but the symptoms is the same. So when you said, how do I make the climate? I don't have problem working. I have problem stopping.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the issue is, if I work, I couldn't stop. Like I could work straight like 17 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah, without break, without eating anything. But the problem is now that's a bad habit, right?
Yeah.
The issue is right now I have a lot of health issues from that. From
From that, pushing
yeah,
yourself so
so
hard.
yeah, thank you. So when you said how do I make climate, I don't have that any issue.
That's so interesting. And
Yeah, but
okay,
now
it's
I
the
have
opposite issue with most people.
yeah, but right now when session already making money, right? So I'm
Right.
comfortable. At the time I thought I am the person that have a vision, like idealist,
Mm.
like
Mm.
always want to go forward. But after a session making me enough money,
Mm.
I just realized I'm a lazy person. After I'm comfortable, I don't want to pursue any more things, you know.
That's so interesting. Like now, like, I am actually curious about when you are in like a work zone.
Hmm.
So how does that feel? Like, are you in a complete flow state where you feel like really good as you're working? What prevents you from stopping work? It feels like most of the population doesn't have that problem, which seems like a kind of a good problem to have, if anything. Like most people would procrastinate work, you can't stop working. So how
Ah,
you?
okay. The issue is like my mind is like a loop.
Okay.
So for example, when I tried to buy this phone,
Uh huh.
I have few choices, right? Like this phone, and this phone.
Mm-hmm.
I want to buy this phone, but the downside is this, the upside is this. I want to buy this phone, the downside this, the upside is this. Like most people, after they have like three options and then weigh down the pros and cons, they can make a decision which one would they take, right?
Right.
I don't I couldn't do that because if I have that three choices, it will stay in my head like a loop. I
Okay,
want to
which
get
one?
this, but the issue is this. I want to get this, but the issue is this. So the issue that you said that I can work for a long hour, it's actually a loop. It's not all the time productive.
I see.
So for example, if I have a problem, I could spend like 15 hours thinking about that, but not going anywhere.
Wow.
Do you get? I don't
So,
understand how to say it, but you get what I mean, right?
yeah, that's quite interesting. But let's say if you are faced with a coding problem, I guess in one thing you just kind of keep working and working and working, constantly trying to make it even better and better and better. Is that it?
No,
It- no.
not just that. For example, like that phone, right?
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't stop. I couldn't move on from that problem. So for example, if I do some coding and have difficult problem, I could spend like 15 hours just thinking about that and didn't make any progress.
That's fascinating.
That's a curse.
So you think in circles, but not necessarily to a conclusion.
True.
That's fascinating. And to do it for so long, that's incredible. So when you
Yeah.
were learning, how does it feel to learn like that? Like, let's say you're learning a new concept. Do you keep thinking about it and thinking about it, or can you move on to the next thing? Like, at what point does the sort of glitch end?
If the subject really interests me,
Uh-huh.
I can think about it for many more months, and it couldn't be removed from my head.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
And
but if the problem is not interesting, I immediately forget about it.
got it. And how did you mitigate this where how did you end up like, uh, how did you take breaks? Like, how did you learn to take breaks if you couldn't stop working?
I didn't. I couldn't. That's why I like Pomodoro technique, right?
Huh.
So you work like for 25 minutes, and then take a break for 5 minutes, and then work 25 minutes, take a break for 5 minutes, and after you do that for four times, you take a break for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And in that 5 minute gap, what did you used to do?
maybe because I have that problem, my mind still couldn't stop. In the 5 minutes, it's not enough. So I just walk around, but the problem is still on my mind. But at least I didn't work. I didn't touch the computer, and it really helps.
Got it. So it allowed like a forceful reflection mechanism to come in, if you will, where you would just do nothing, even though your mind would, in the back of your head, replay the same thing that you're working on.
Yeah,
But because of that physical break from the work, there's enough separation where you can take a break and relax a little bit before you came back on, and even better, I suppose.
true. But I don't think for my case 5 minutes is enough because what I found helpful for me is if I go just walk outside of my home. But I need a lot of time. I couldn't detach immediately.
Got it. So you need to
Like
physically
maybe
get out of the space.
yeah, or the escape for me when I was younger is I used to like to play games. That's one of the only way I could detach from the work or study.
I see. And did you feel refreshed after these breaks?
No, like do you know Sudoku?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I take a break, I play Sudoku. But when I set the loop, the problem of the loop, I could play it like for 8 hours, 12 hours.
And not, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's why it's crazy. Like my wife, when she see me playing Sudoku, she thought I'm punishing myself. You know, like she don't understand why my idea of relaxation is doing maths, doing Sudoku. You know, it's not maths,
Yeah.
but you get what I mean. It's still use some
Yeah.
kind of logic.
Like there is this sense of release when you solve like difficult problems. Like at the end of it, you feel this high, whereas it's like, I don't know if you feel that. Did
No,
you?
I feel emptiness actually. Like when I
Brilliant. Like this is a great
like
solution, dude.
like
Like
when I play
I'm
game.
gonna start to take a break by just doing something else that's like equally productive, and so therefore I'll just never take a break.
Yeah, but at least it's repetitive, so I don't think about the problem before, you know. So my mind could get out of the loop.
That's remarkable. That is remarkable. I have used Session as well, by the way. Like I use it like it depends. Like some days like I don't because I haven't structured my day well enough. But when I do, I'm just like like it feels so much better. Like because I know like okay, in these many hours that I budgeted, I'll try my best to get everything done. If I can't get it done, I know put in the work because I've been focused dedicatedly for that period of time. And I find it incredibly useful as an app as well. And it's also cool that you can track your whole time with Session, and it's really interesting about deep work hours. I don't know if you know the concept of the book Deep Work. He by Cal Newport. He says the you can measure so many things about your progress. Like you can, let's say if you're learning to code, like the number of syntaxes you're learning, how you well you're recalling information, the projects you're doing. You could measure so many things, so many variables of progress. But it's really hard to keep track of it all. But if you keep track of one thing, which is the deep work hours you put in, the dedicated hours you put in, that's the one of the most reliable indicators of measures of progress. Because over time, let's say in from 30 days to 60 days to 90 days, whatever that deep network number, it really compounds into like you have learned to code suddenly, which is sort of it's really beautiful when you think about it. And I find Session is the perfect app for that. Like it's the best app that I've come in this space at least.
Thank you. Yeah, probably. Oh, when you touch the subject of deep focus, I suddenly remember I watched YouTube, right? Because I thought I have a deep focus. So I watched a YouTube about ADHD, and then one of the section really surprised me because she said, don't confuse deep work, deep focus with hyper focus. So it's two different things because like the problem that I have is a hyper focus
Okay.
because I couldn't detach from the issue. But so right now I don't understand what deep focus is, or if I ever experienced it before.
I think I guess another way to put deep hyper focus, sorry, is obsession.
Yeah, probably.
Because
Yeah,
if you keep
probably right.
going in those loops, it seems like an obsession, at least from my perspective. Which I don't know too much about ADHD actually. Which there's variants of ADHD. Which one do you have?
I don't know because I never diagnosed it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But if you know, you know, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, but I'm pretty sure I have one because of that issue, right? That's not normal, right?
how is it like in other areas of your life with ADHD? Like, how are relationships like with ADHD?
Yeah, the same issue because if I'm focused on one thing.
Yeah,
My focus is only on that. For example,
you
back
can't
in the
escape.
day when I was in college, like I'm chasing my girlfriend, now wife. I just couldn't stop thinking about her for months.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, but not in a healthy way. It's
Uh,
yeah, it's not. It's I guess the issue is I still have that issue now,
hmm,
but the subject is really different.
hmm,
If I'm into coding, it's always coding. If I'm into session, I'm working on the session always. If I'm into looking for backpacks, for example, I'll be researching a lot of things, and I would spend like 2 weeks just for that. Not
hmm.
productive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's.
So when you say how it relates to relationship, it's bad. It affects a lot of my. It affects a lot of my life.
Hmm.
And one of my friends from Twitter also have the same issue,
Uh-huh.
and he didn't know that's an issue, right? Because he thought this is
That's
normal.
it.
Everybody's like this
Hmm.
until he went to doctor. He prescribed him some kind of weed,
Hmm.
but in his country it's legal.
Hmm.
And then after he consumed that, like his mind blanks. Like he didn't know. Oh, so this is what normals feels like.
I see.
Like oh, when I'm stuck in a problem, I could stop. I didn't know you could do that. That's weird, right?
Yeah.
That's what.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, he didn't know that he's not normal.
Yeah.
But but when he consumed that, things
It calmed
change.
him down.
Like yeah, it calmed him down. It like he's in control. Yeah,
And that's so interesting.
but it's really interesting because because I want to try to feel how normal feels, right? Because he said the difference is your environment will know if you have the problem because you're not fun to be around with.
You're obsessed with something or the other.
Yeah, when he
It's
consume
sort of.
it, it's the environment feels he's more pleasant to be around with.
I see. I see. Like, because people can't appreciate that in your head, these loops are going off and you have to be focused on one thing.
Yeah, you
I have
you
so much.
you
Yeah.
had fever, right?
Yeah.
When you fever, you dream something that keep looping. Is it the same
Hmm.
with you?
When I have a fever, no.
No, you
No,
don't
like,
dream something like keep looping.
no, not really. I only loop, I guess. Well, if sorry, I only dream when I am thinking about something before bed, and I'm sort of obsessing over that thing in my thoughts. I have this with design a lot, where if I take an afternoon nap from learning to code or like designing, I can sort of solve the design in my head. Like I know, I don't know how to like these things are gonna come together in this design, but like when I'm sleeping, I can just solve it. I don't know how I do that, but I can. I can. But it's only when I'm like already working on something and I take a break, and specifically with sleep, or I'm thinking something before bed, and then I just keep thinking about that.
I see. That's the same with me.
That's the same with you, except like it's all the time. Wow.
Yeah,
And what is the
except it's all the time.
physical? What is the physical w- consequences of not effect? What are the physical effects of ADHD? Like how do you feel physically? Because I know there's some stuff you're going through now. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, you mean like so the problem is because I focus a lot. My lifestyle is bad. Like for example, I don't have enough sleep maybe, or I
There's
don't
no
do any
balance.
exercise. Yeah. So the issue is I have right now a high cholesterol level. High cholesterol level. I have high uric acid level. Like the level that really not normal because
Got it.
the I think the normal cholesterol level is I don't remember exactly, but I think 100 or 180, 100 or 120.
Huh.
And then when your level is 200, it's really bad. Like
I
your
see.
It's crazy, and mine is 300. Yeah, as a scale, so it's really bad.
But it's because of this condition where, because you cannot, because of the loops that you keep going into, the obsession, you neglect other aspects of your life until they've now caught up to you. Even though you've excelled in like certain things, you've also you had to like you neglected other things because you couldn't stop focusing.
Yeah, probably it's because it's from the physical level, and when because of the loop, maybe it affects the
Yeah.
mental too, and it
And have
affects the
you?
brain or physic. I don't know.
I don't know if this like would work at all, but like, have you ever been obsessed with meditation at all?
I've tried
Uh-huh.
for a few times. I even bought the book. Like the ideal meditation is like 1 hour per day
Hmm.
or more. It's interesting, and I've tried one before. But like everything else, it starts good, and then after that you kind of forget about it, right?
Hmm.
But I remember one time it helps because I tried to meditate for half an hour, and I feel at peace because I didn't think of anything, right? Because something a thought came in, like just let it go. A thought came in, just let it go.
Is there anything that gives you that sense of peace? Do you crave peace?
I crave peace.
Yeah. And is there anything that gives that to you?
Yeah. Now when you ask me about that, yeah, probably the meditation. Like I just remember that one specific meditation, like for half an hour, I feel content. Like I could die at that moment, and I'm fine.
No, okay, that's so nice. Okay.
Yeah, probably just that. But when you say peace in general, because probably I already make enough money, I have savings. I feel content with my life right now.
Got it. Got it. I'm happy for you. Like in fact, like I still remember like when I first started this, like I mentioned it before, but I wanted to interview you like for the longest time. Like when I first started this, I was like, okay, I want to talk to this guy because I saw your story on the internet when I was just looking at, man, like I was thinking about like how I could make money as a designer, and like and what I wanted to do, and I was already working at apps, and I wondered like if you could do it alone. And then you were the first person that came up in my search where you did it on your own, and I was just blown away. It's like, what, it can happen, you can do it on your own. And I was like, I want to talk to you one day, and here we are. This is
Where
like,
do you find me? Is it on Twitter or?
it was such a long time ago, but I think it was like it was a website. It was I remember that like it was your story on a website, and they talked about brief about the app, and then that you were a solopreneur, like that you did it by yourself. And that's when found you, and then I found your website, some of your work. I thought you were doing the agency at that time as well. Like so. My earliest recollection of it, and it was a long time ago. By the way, it was like more than 4 years ago, I think. Um,
Oh, that's crazy. So there's no
yeah, yeah.
session?
Session was there. The session was there. Like it was more like I think it was in the very early days where you
I
like, but
see.
not in the early days, and then you already started making money from it, and people started noticing. And then there was some blog post that I read about you, and that's when I found you. And I've kind of had the app since then, I think.
Probably starter story, right?
I think that's it. Like it was like in my head, I was thinking it was a case study, but it's not a case study. Case study. They were just telling like stories, like, and you were the story.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's that because there's only two interview I've ever done,
Okay.
and
And
one
three
in
now.
Spanish. So
What?
impossible. Yeah.
You did? You know how to speak Spanish?
No, he interviewed me in English, but he translated the content to Spanish.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's the starter story.
Yeah. And tell me about session. Actually, we'll get into that now. Tell me the story of how Session came to be.
Okay, so at the time I have a client works, and after 2 years it's ending, and because it's ending, I take some break because I was overworked. I didn't realize that until the contract ends. I took a break for 3 months, and then like one day I just like this huge urge to start working on something. And actually, before this, I make a to-do list app, but my skill set is web app on the browser, not mobile app, not on Android, not on iPhone. But the issue is, at the time, website doesn't have any local data, right? So it's all on the server.
Right.
So I think it's really useless to make a to-do list app, but you must be online all the time.
Right.
Nah, I remember because of that, this is not ideal, so I should stop doing this, making this to-do app. And after that 3 months break, I remember that moment. And then I decided to try, maybe I should learn to make an local app, an app that doesn't rely on internet. But for me, it should work offline. So without internet, it should work. But after online, it should also sync perfectly with other devices, if there's any.
Gotcha.
And because of that, and because of my focus problem, I really, as I said before, I really like Pomodoro technique. But the apps on the market for me really sucks.
Yeah, they still suck.
Yeah, that's why I try to make session. That's the main trigger. It's for training my skill. Like, I think it would be fun just to make a mobile app just for
Yeah,
that. Yeah, just from that.
true, true. That's so okay. And would was the journey easy, would you say, or was it very difficult?
So the journey, there are two phases, right? So the first one is learning how to code, because it's a totally different language, similar but different. And the second one is making money out of it. So the journey
Right.
of learning is really hard because Apple in general is really closed compared to website. Like in website, you don't need anybody permission. You have a bug, you can just upload the code, and then everyone using your app will immediately get the latest update. In Apple side, not so much, because the issue is I live in Indonesia, so it's a huge problem because when you have to upload an app on the App Store, you need to be you need to have Apple developer account. If you don't have that account, you couldn't upload any app. And because I'm from Indonesia, like maybe it's third world country, like they always block it. So I couldn't make Apple developer program for, I think, for 6 months.
Okay.
It's really
Wow.
crazy. Yeah. So I thought the problem is credit card. So I borrowed credit card from my friends from United States, from Germany, from Italy, from many countries, and nothing worked. So I was really confused. What was the problem? The credit card is not a problem, and the form is like just my name and credit card. So it's really weird. So my only logic is it's because I live in third world country. They just maybe have automated system and immediately block it.
Got it. I see. So
So
like,
so it's
but yeah.
so it's really challenging. That's from the administration side. From the coding side, it's really also really challenging because it's hard. It's different mindset that because I have prior knowledge of programming with JavaScript, at least I could learn about it faster than doing from a blank slate.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And so, as somebody, so I'm currently learning to, like, I'm just about to start JavaScript now. And would you say, and my full intention is to create apps from this. Would you say like JavaScript is the wrong route to go down if I want to, if my goal is to build apps?
What's your definition of apps?
B2C apps, like applications on your phone, mobile apps.
No, not really, because there's not really, because you can also make mobile apps with JavaScript now.
Okay, right.
It's just not ideal because it's like it's not ideal because you could probably have problems and the problem is unsolvable unless you use the Swift language, the language that Apple use.
You're right, right. So ideally, you have to
That
do that to operate well.
mhm.
But I guess if you do it on JavaScript, you can more easily do it on Android as well.
True, you can also do it on the iOS and also you can do it on the web.
Gotcha.
Web
And
is more open.
right, like, but knowing what you know now, would you say it's easy to create revenue generating apps?
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know because I would say like where I am right now, it's just luck.
Gotcha.
The process is I told you right. Initially, when I'm Session, I didn't think of at all to monetize it. I just want to practice my skill to make a Pomodoro app, and the making money side is an accident.
Right.
I just like probably I could make money out of this, so I just slapped some dollar amount to it, and then I know it is possible because I'm using a website called Sensor Tower. So
Right.
it's sensor and tower
Yeah, right. Got it.
to look for similar apps and how much money they make, if they make any money. And then the closest app I look, they can make 10K per month, 10K US dollar,
That's a lot. Yeah.
20K US dollar per month. And then the best one is 100K per month.
That's
So
yeah.
yeah, so from that I know people will pay for this big, but for me it's at the time it's stupid that people pay for a timer, right? Like
Yeah.
who in the right mind would pay for this product?
Right. Right.
Yeah, so the when you say is it easy to make revenue generating apps, I guess I'm lucky because I just upload it on the App Store and
It got so like describe the process of that if you would, like how did the app grow?
yeah, it took off slowly. I didn't do anything.
So you
So
just
so
uploaded on the app store and just took care. So you did nothing else?
no, I did small things, but I don't think that impact any downloads. So I just when people sign up, I send a welcome email. Hello, why did you try session in the first place? But it's not marketing, right?
Okay, I did not expect this all of a sudden.
Yeah, I also don't expect so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so it's accident.
It's a complete accident. Okay, got it. And
So
so it's more like so it grew organically through the app store and it got more and more app store rankings is what it got.
I put updates on Twitter.
You put updates on Twitter and that drove
Yeah,
traffic.
I thought it drove traffic until I did the survey. Like, where do you know the apps? Probably from Twitter, it's like less than 10%. So it's insignificant.
Gotcha. And where did the other 90% also come from?
From friends, from blog, from YouTube. So
Interesting.
it's someone else reviewing it. So it grew slowly.
Right. And how many months did it take to grow?
What's the best line and the finish line?
Let's say when you felt like it was making good money, like however much that was to you,
For me, good money is 2K per month.
right?
Uh, Immediately.
Wow.
So on the App Store, it's really slow until there's a website called Set App approach me. So Set App is like Spotify, but for Mac apps.
For apps. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you pay once and you can access all paid apps
Gotcha.
for free, but you paid for it once. It's a
And that
subscription per month. Yeah,
right, right. And that's that gave you a lot of revenue from the get-go, is it?
yeah, enough revenue. So from when they approach me, do you want to put session into here? And here's how we gonna monetize the apps. Like they have 150 catalogs at the time. I don't know how much is it now. And for example, you're a subscriber, right? And that month you only use my app. It costs $10, so $7 is for developers.
Okay.
So I get the $7. Setup
Yeah.
get the $2.
They do all the marketing and they take care of it. But
Yeah.
that's like having these aggregators allowed you to make money from the get-go. And would you say there are other ways to make money from the get-go with when you launch an app? Like this is one of them now that I've come to learn.
No, you mean other than subscription?
Other than so like how do you make a revenue generating app soon is the question I have in mind. So one is grow it naturally and get it on top of the app store as much as possible in the organic way, promote it across channels, maybe to different influencers and creators, let them review it, let them use it, maybe even brand it around them. The other is what you've described right now, where there's this like subscription baskets, if you will, and you're part of the basket of goods that they offer to their user base, and you get a cut of each person that uses it. That's the and I'm just thinking about like how can I, let's say I want to start an app, right, and I wanted to make money. How can I shorten that curve where it's generating money from day one?
Okay, so everything you said is possible because there's a proof that all of them is possible. But one thing that I realized, if I could start all over again and I don't have money, I don't have savings, I would probably do lifetime deals.
Lifetime deals.
Yeah, so it really depends on your business model. But for example, if session is subscription, I would do lifetime deals. For example, maybe $50 or $100 or $200. And if you get $200, let's say there's 100 people paying for that, it's 20,000, right? And that's a good enough money for you to
To,
have, I don't know how to say it, lifeline.
yeah, 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 like
So
your basic,
you're not
you're
stressing about
financially
that.
free after that. You're financially
Yeah,
free after that. You because your basic expenses are met. Especially if you're living in a developing country,
true.
you're golden, like with that kind of money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if I have no money, I will do that immediately.
Lifetime subscription. Interesting.
No, not lifetime subscription because there's no subscription. Lifetime.
Sorry, then I didn't understand. Like, I thought you meant lifetime subscription. Like, you would change up the packages to be lifetime subscription.
Yeah, but yeah, never mind. I mean lifetime. The point
Oh,
of lifetime is no more subscription, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. And I see. Yeah, and um, let's say if I'm somebody that, or let's say you were to advise somebody that is looking to build their own apps, would you suggest them to do it in the first place?
To make apps.
Yeah. Do you think it's still a good market for apps?
Yeah, sure. Because my friend, like a sole developer here, making 200K per month. Yeah, it's possible, and he's still a student.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Yeah, and when I asked him like, how could you achieve that? Like he said like what I said. I don't know. It just happened.
That's remarkable. That's beautifully remarkable. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
So if it's possible, it's possible.
right. And let's say in the building phases of an app, are there any tips that you would give out or advice that would help save a lot of time, or just general advice when you're building an app?
I would say just don't focus on app. I mean, focus on the problem you're trying to solve. Because app is just like the vehicle to solve the problem, right?
Right. That is true. If you focus on
So
the problem, yes.
many because many software engineers like fixated. I have to make website. I have to make website. But it's better to know the problem in the first place, and then can it solve that? Because like station, uh, I used the wrong approach. I just look, is it possible by looking at other apps and how much money they make. So I know it's possible, but I should have done something else because there's a limit of how much money you can make, right?
Right.
Depending on which industry you're in.
Right. Gotcha. Like the idea will cap you off or not cap you off.
Yeah.
Because
So I
in the
think
case of session, because it's like a Pomodoro timer, and that's what it's known for. You're not going to be a one-stop solution for all things productivity. You're
true.
going to be a specific solution for a specific thing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and for me, it's also session is also quite expensive, like $5 per month and $40 per hour per year. So many people already turned off by that idea. Like, why should I pay for a timer?
And
I mean, me myself, if if I'm developer and I look at session, probably I just close it. I wouldn't pay for that.
yeah, I'm so curious now.
No, I mean, the best thing is if your product helps people make more money, that's golden. They wouldn't think about paying money for that.
Gotcha. If it would help somebody make more, even more money. And did you try out different pricing plans and like things on session, or do you have an inkling as to what works really well in the space?
No, I haven't experimented with that.
Got it. And so
Not
it's
yet.
like purely based. And if you don't mind me asking, like, how much is session making?
Right now, it's like it's flatline, so it doesn't grow anymore and doesn't
Shrink.
yeah doesn't shrink anymore. That's why I actually stopped working on it. It's about 14K probably.
Per month?
Yeah, 13K to 14K per month.
That's brilliant, though. That's brilliant because it's like zero marketing, and this is all happening organically. Is this from new people or people that have already subscribed and are sticking on?
Both because the people that get out and then subscribe is equal.
And where are they coming from?
I didn't ask, but oh, I asked from the email, but mostly that people that reply from friends or from blog posts or from website.
Got it. Got it. Try not to do. Yeah, like this iPhone thing. So I wonder how you switch it off. I need to figure
Yeah,
it out.
I can switch it off by clicking the camera and then turn off the reaction.
Yeah, yeah. Just because it'll get recorded onto the.
Okay, no more, right?
Yeah, yeah. You're good.
Okay, cool.
And interesting. And like, I wonder if you did like a little bit of promotion here and there, like how much the results could pick up.
Okay, so from what I researched, like my friend, everybody said like it's not worth it to do to do ads with these B2C apps unless you know that people wouldn't unsubscribe easily. For example, session is a fleeting product, right? People probably use it like for a few months and then stop,
Mm-hmm.
or only a few hardcore one going to subscribe for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not worth it. But few apps probably like VPN, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah, VPNs all the
yeah,
time.
they are everywhere because if you use VPN, you're probably going to use that if the product is good.
Yeah, true, true.
So they could justify paying ads for that.
Your LTV is super high with that because
Yeah,
it's
the LTV is super high. My LTV is low.
right, right. But it's still like keeping you up and obviously giving you tremendous savings as well, so that you kind of set up. And
No, the problem is my saving is come from my previous work, not from session.
no,
So I'm already, yeah.
okay, but
So
you're
I'm
making a lot,
already, yeah, more than session.
huh? Wait, I'm confused. That's ridiculous then.
Yeah, but at the time, right? Not now, because now I don't want to do any more work.
Got it. Because got it. So in the previous, you're working with U.S. clients and you're making a lot of money through that, right? And I'm so curious now, like, but so it's making 1,400 or 14,000.
14,000.
14,000 like dollars. That's incredible revenue because that's like you're set up. Like you don't need to worry about anything. Like
Yeah, true. That's why now I know I'm not, I don't know the word again. I'm not idealist. I thought I was idealist or something like that. That
right,
would pursue thing to grow thing.
yeah,
Yeah, but I just realized I learned about myself after I'm comfortable. It's done.
got
I don't
it.
have any desire to work more.
Right. And say you were to like advise somebody that is looking to build apps now. So like me, for instance. So I'm trying to figure out like which ideas to double down on and which not to double down on. Do you would you suggest any spaces or ideas where that could uh, bec- uh, be really valuable
For apps,
for apps?
games probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, games make a lot of money.
Yeah, games make a ridiculous amount of money. And so
Yeah,
much so
but
the Apple Store, like they introduced a new section just for games.
yeah, but I guess making apps is really hard because people expect good design
Right.
and then cheap price,
Right.
and both is really hard. But I don't think you should also be fixated about that because many really ugly apps also make a lot of money.
That is true.
People don't really care about that. For example, I limit myself, right? I want to make my app to absolutely work offline and to sync between devices, and it's really hard to implement. But there's also apps like what I did, but it doesn't work offline. It also make more money than me. So
Would you
actually, I'm
say like
confused.
would you say like most apps are revenue generating on the App Store?
What's your definition of revenue generating?
Like they're making like a few $100 at least a month.
Few hundred is easy.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, it's really hard because if you don't do any marketing, it really depends on App Store
Reviews and
ranking, and the ranking depends on a lot of things, like the ratings that people give you, how many
design.
downloads you got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the design is uh, the site because the ratings come from design and something like that. How many crashes your app do, and how many uninstall. If people immediately uninstall, Apple record that and will give you lower rankings. So when you say if it's making any money or not, when you launch, it's really important. If your launching is good, it will grow slowly, and somewhere along the line, it will flatline.
Would you do you have any advice for the people launching apps?
Hmm. Then focus on the design. Focus on the functionality. Focus on the problem you're trying to solve. Like as I said before, many ugly apps make way more money than me.
That's so true. I'm so glad you said this because I have this fundamental assumption as well. As a designer, it's one of the most painful things I have come to realize. And it is that you can design something extremely beautiful, but if it doesn't serve a function, there's like a huge aspect of that is missing. If you fix the function, the beauty aspect is easy. If you
True. That's correct.
the and at least when it comes to apps. And I'm doing the same in the podcasting space because I realized, like, man, I could be working on the intro for freaking ever. like, like it's never going to be good enough because I have that perfectionist mindset. But in the last episode I uploaded yesterday, actually, it was an interview with my friend Amit. When the intro, when I recorded it, I was somewhere else, and you can hear the air conditioning in the background. It doesn't sound good, and I recorded from the front facing camera, so I was like, it came out so well, but the quality wasn't too good. And I'm like, and it's been Diwali, so there's crackers all the time here, and I'm just like, screw it. I'm just gonna launch because I know the value of the episodes are in the reels, like in like the testing, immediate testing, on the spot, and then you can work on the beauty of it later because. Because that's the actually the easy part. Because once you figure out the operations, the skeletons of it, the bodies can be like the muscles can all be attached, if you will. And I'm noticing this with apps, and like because I've worked in software as well, and like I've noticed this consistently. And it's kind of a beautiful thing as well, to realize that, like, oh fuck, like I am wrong in my most fundamental assumptions of design.
Yeah, but yeah, you're correct. I think we should do more and think less.
Do more and think less,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I
And
mean, just ship. Don't overthink about the design. Don't overthink. Like you said, the sound of the AC. It's a
yeah,
small thing.
it's a small thing.
You can fix it later.
You can, and especially like initially, like I know that like the first 100 episodes won't get any views. Like it's like, but I know the reels can reach a lot of people.
How
So
much episode do you have right now?
I've recorded around 8 episodes, and this is my ninth one actually. Woohoo. And I am like, taking it like a step at a time, where each episode I'm figuring out like an operational block of
Yeah,
the podcast. Because as simple as a podcast is, it has a lot of moving parts, and they all have to line each other so that you're creating content every week consistently, and you're creating enough of it. That's the challenge, like, in my opinion, where the edits are really good, the actual content is actually fun and engaging, and then the guests are really having fun, and like, you're getting in the right guests. All of these things have to come in together, and you're also launching a long form and short form content. So all of this coming together is more the trouble, because there's a lot of moving parts in each one. Then actually, like, and if I get focused on one thing, I will never freaking get started.
yeah, true.
Yeah, and but
I mean,
do
you're
you?
doing well.
Thank you. And I'm trying to learn code on top of this. So let's see. And how long did it
Crazy.
take you to develop Session, by the way?
3 months probably or 4 months.
Okay.
The
And
biggest
let's
issue
say,
is when I have to upload the apps. Like I said, it took 6 months.
right, right. And I was thinking about this, and I'm like, I'd like to just run it by you. Um, when I'm planning to build a bunch of apps, right? And what I want to do is either code it myself or get a co-founder that's technical, and I focus on the growth and design. because in my head, like it'll be another thing that I have to work on top of everything else I have with the podcast, with work, and just life in general. So let's say if I was looking for a co-founder, do you have any like suggestions about how I could find or hire developers?
No, because if I can find one, I'll find one for myself too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in general, I think you should try everything, and then you'll know what you like and what you don't like. Probably you wouldn't like coding, or
Hmm.
probably you're going to like coding. At least try.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm enjoying it. Like once I'm in the product, it's just that the timelines get extended quite a bit in my head. So, because if I'm doing all of these things, it's just that like if I have a co-founder that can take care of this, I will also want to learn to code, of course. But if I have somebody else that takes care of this completely, then I can really focus on the other big aspects of this, and create small calculated bets about like how to grow and organically and learn that process. And but yeah, that's like it's a problem for me to figure out, I suppose now.
Yeah,
And what are your favorite apps right now on the App Store?
favorite apps on the App Store.
Hmm.
Let me see what I use every day. Probably Google Maps.
Yeah,
I mean,
fundamental.
it works perfectly, and you don't ever think like, oh, it should have done this. It should have done
Hmm.
this. I think if you already forgot about an app, it's already perfect.
Hmm. That
Or
is
probably
true.
WhatsApp. You know,
Yeah, use it all the time.
it's crazy.
Mm.
It's just like utilities people, and I don't remember any problem with
Hmm.
using that.
Absolutely. And do you see any apps that are performing well despite being poorly built?
Many apps, like Craigslist
Yeah,
in the US, it's really ugly, but it makes a lot of money.
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, so like I said, don't focus on the design. And I'm speaking this as a designer.
Yeah.
And what I mean by design is visual, right? Not the user experience, like the button. Like you need to have a very precise wording for the UI. Just focus on that, but then focus on the design. Like the spacing is too far. I mean, it's important, but many ugly apps make way more money than beautiful apps.
True, true. And
That's why you never find any crazy designed apps, right? Like with a lot of animation. I
yeah,
couldn't even
it's just
mention one.
like even like now that I've learned code, I just at least the basics. When I've learned CSS and HTML, and I'm like coding websites, like I just hate anybody that's like promoting like really complex designs now because I'm like, it's
Yeah,
such an unreasonable ask, and it looks beautiful and most likely won't perform as well. Like, like
yeah,
the
true.
simplicity works. Like if you could make it simple and elegant, and functionally it's designed so well, it's not just accounting for the beauty, but just pure functionality. I think you got it. Like you've got it in the bag, but few people are able to do it. Especially like across tech, I see this problem. And have you come across anybody like you yourself, like a solopreneur that makes money through apps?
Many from Twitter.
Many.
There's a lot of people. Yeah,
Are they? Okay. And any that would stand out to you?
yeah, a few. Do you know Tony Dean?
I don't.
So he's also just started his journey like 2 years ago,
Uh huh.
and he's already making 3 apps. I think he's way more interesting than me because
Why do you say?
he already sold the app,
Hmm.
and he has experience making 3 apps or 4 apps now,
Got it. Got it.
and all are
Right.
revenue generating.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll just note that down as somebody to speak to for sure.
And also the most interesting, he's living in Southeast Asia, so we have similar economics background, right?
Right, right. And any other people do you think I should speak to if I want to learn more about this space?
Probably Llama Life. Do you know Llama Life?
No, but I will
It's
find out.
productivity apps,
Okay. Oh, llama. Okay, I think I know.
similar to. Yeah.
Got it, got it. Like the founders of that, you'd say?
Yeah, the founder is Australian. It's also
Uh-huh.
interesting, I think,
Okay. And
because she has funding. Maybe it's a different because she has funding and it's a small apps,
got it.
unlike other funded apps that went crazy, like hire 100 people.
Yeah.
She starts slow, so it's interesting.
Right. Like, I think that's usually the best way to go. Like even when I'm gonna get into this, I plan on doing like really small experiments where I'm just launching a really simple app and just seeing the whole process of it, and then do another one, and then do like progressively get bigger as I start to make more income. Because otherwise, I am betting on this ridiculous idea that I don't know will work or not, but
True,
it's sounds
true.
dead.
Yeah, that's the right thing. Don't do thing like me. I'm a bad practice. I'm just got lucky
Fair enough.
because I just focus on one thing and don't move to anything else. You should do what you said. Just make something small. Make a tight deadline for probably a week.
Gotcha. And who trained and influenced you if in your app development process?
App development process.
So
I'm
it's
actually
like this app
more.
building, like other apps, other people, like who inspired you?
I'm mainly inspired by designers more than developers because
Yeah, I could
probably
really
it's
see it in the
you
app,
could see it.
especially when you use neomorphism in the white the aesthetic that you have. It's called neomorphism, if I'm not mistaken, right? Um, when I first saw that, I was like, "This is so fresh. This is so fresh." Because we were just starting out like that trend. Now it's like full fledged, and it looked so clean, and it still looks so clean now.
Thank you.
So I really like.
No,
And
but I mean, I'm more interested by designer, but not necessarily UI.
okay, so the
So it,
designer themselves.
yeah, so it could be brand identity or interior designer or architect, something like that.
So what do you take from them?
Beauty.
Beauty. So, like, describe that process a little bit because so you see their work and then you just are inspired to create apps from it. Is that it, or is it the person and the persona that inspires you?
No, the work because I don't know. I think everybody have the same obsession because I really like beautiful things. I believe you also because you want to be a
Yeah,
designer, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's just pleasing. It inspire me to create something beautiful too and that people can enjoy. This is actually one of the reason I really like app design and app development. I mean, I'm just working alone, and right now probably 3,000 people are using my app. For me, that's crazy because sometimes I get emails like people, "Thank you for the app. Because of this, I graduated from the college. I don't think I can graduated from college without this." It's really amazing. I think
Yeah,
especially it's because just from one person.
that is true.
Yeah, like your impact could change the entire world. Even though it's really small, it's amazing for me.
It is, and there are a few things that can be done exceptionally well in apps, I think, but even by virtue of making them, I think you can just help a good chunk of people. You don't need to help everybody, but you can
True,
help somebody. And
true.
I have that similar philosophy with content as well. Like there'll be pieces that I'm like, this is so useless. I don't care. Like, and then came to learn that, um, man, I don't know what somebody might find this valuable. Like I have the knowledge, just share it, you know, and who knows who it could help. And but coming back to the apps themselves, and what are the biggest mistakes and myths you see when it comes to app building?
First of all, like we've already said before, design, over design,
Yeah. Right.
focusing too much on that.
Mm-hmm.
Second is trying to be clever.
Hmm.
Like for example, he's making the flow like not typical. Try to be. I think this is cool. This is what. Just make it
Right.
obvious.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Simple as
Mm.
hell.
And then the third one, most apps are afraid of asking people for money, so they're
Interesting.
useful but stay free. I
Hmm.
think anything valuable, people will pay for it. I mean, if session is free, I think what people have in their head is different. Like I could probably use this app when I need it, but if they pay, probably they like I already paid. I should utilize it.
Yeah. That is true. And what are the? Do you see any myths when it comes to app building that aren't true?
That is, it's easy to be a millionaire just for making apps.
Yeah,
That's not true.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, with Sensor Tower, you can predict how much people make by the apps. Most of the money come to mobile apps, mobile games. Sorry,
Yeah.
and it's not easy because like mobile games could probably make millions, but apps millions per month is crazy.
And is it? What's the failure rate of apps? Do you know?
The what? Sorry,
The failure rate of apps.
I don't know, but it's high. I believe it's 90% or more.
So like,
I mean, it really also depends on what's your perception of failed.
actually, I'm curious. I've also heard this statistic about this 90% failure rate of apps, but what defines failure here? Like, what
Yeah.
would you define it as? It's not revenue generating, I guess, in my head.
No, failure is probably when nobody use your app. I mean, if it's free and people use it, it's successful to me because it's useful.
Right.
I mean, it's really heart wrenching if you make something and people don't use it, especially if you spend a lot of time on it.
That is true. That is true. It's a shame. Yeah, and yeah, most apps like will be struggling to get just users to see it.
Yeah, that's why I believe you should focus on the problem you're trying to solve first, because app is just a vehicle to achieve the problem, to solve the problem.
Got it. And where do you think most apps fail? Why do most apps fail?
Because they're making apps that nobody really needs.
Got it. So like it's kind of like a loop in that you just create pointless apps, so obviously people don't care.
Yeah,
Has to mean something. And what are your favorite instructional resources and books on this subject?
on programming,
On apps.
probably just Twitter, just learning from people who were on the same journey as us. Like they
Yeah, the playbook.
usually
Yeah.
usually build in public, so we could know the issue they have, what have they done that works. They usually share that.
Got it. And right. And let's say, I guess, come to think of it, like just following their journey will help you figure out the growth tactics needed to grow an app as well. I wonder, and also building an app because well, building an app you can just Google it and then you can find solutions online. That's interesting.
Especially now there's Chat GPT.
Yeah, I love
It's way
ChatGPT.
easier. You're
Yeah.
lucky.
And do you see any AI tools that are helping make the whole app building process a lot easier other than ChatGPT?
Not yet. And ChatGPT is
Okay.
not perfect for Apple apps. It's stupid
It's not perfect for what?
because for making mobile apps, at least for
Hmm.
me, because
Hmm.
it's mostly useless.
Hmm.
Because ChatGPT depends on data, right?
Hmm.
And there's not a lot
Oh.
of code. There's not a lot of mobile app code on the internet.
Hmm.
That's why it's rather useless. I mean, if you're making a web app, there's a lot of
Hmm.
resources on the internet, so it's really useful.
Hmm. I see. What are the biggest mistakes like novices make when it comes to app building? Would you say?
Making things that nobody need.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I guess that's also the biggest misuse of time.
true. And
Yeah.
focusing on the wrong thing, like the design.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
by design here, it's visual, right? Not user
Yeah.
experience, not the
And,
wording.
and even at like let's say a pro level, are there any common mistakes that most people make?
The same. I think many people also do the same mistake, like focusing on the wrong thing.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
this is
So like
maybe one more pixel. That's useless.
I see. Okay. Now I think we've established something really cool right now. In that um, we're sort of establishing the first principles of creating apps, and it's like the core business principles, if you will. Like make sure it solves a freaking problem, and
Yeah,
and then like the people want this is a problem in this space that you can act genuinely solve rather than just creating something you think is good. Like validate the market first before doing that. And do you see any ways of like um, finding out those problems to solve through
yeah.
apps.
First of all, the easiest way is try to solve your own problem. That's the first one, and to validate it easily, look if everybody already done it. See, if you already done it, do they make money? And if they make money, how much money?
That is true.
And if you
And
know
if
how much money, if you reach that kind of money, is it going to satisfy you? If yes, just do it.
that is true, like it's in fact that's I'm faced with this similar philosophy when it comes to app building right now. It's like screw it, like either like solve the problems I am facing now or look at what's working in the space. They're solving a problem. Like maybe you can look at it in a different angle, or maybe you could um, improve on the apps that already exist because God knows they need updates, and and you can just work on those as like simple ideas, and
Yeah,
yeah. And I think we've also established a lot of other answers to a lot of questions I had. It's like the 80, what's the 80 20 rule of building apps? And which we've sort of established. They're focusing on that fundamental core. But would you say like um, you would approach app building differently if you were to go back into time and like um, redo it?
I would love to hire people to help me to do the coding. So, like you said, I could focus on the marketing because I haven't explored that area at all.
And okay, that's definitely what I'm going to do then.
Yeah, but to do that, you need to have money, right? I mean, you don't need to have a co-founder. You could hire somebody else. Maybe for example, if you make something like session and it's already making 2K or 3K, you probably could already hire people, right, in India.
I could. What I would like to do is just this. It's the initial round of like whatever investment I need. I need to figure out how much it'll actually cost to make this small app, and like I need to see the whole process and then take it from there really. Because if I know that there's a market here, I know the app can be built here, and there's maybe not so many
Yeah,
competitors, then it makes sense to just double down on that. I think finding that like golden egg is the most difficult part in this right now because that's where my all of my energy will be diverted from their end. So we'll see, we'll see. I'm looking forward to this. And do you see like apps evolving into a different ecosystem now in the future? Um,
I didn't understand. Can you repeat?
okay, how do you see apps evolving? Like, do you see them going in more into VR technology, AI? Like, how do you see apps themselves like changing or evolving?
I believe it would be way more invisible than it currently is.
Way more?
Invisible.
What do you
For
mean?
example, right now, many people are focusing on the interface, right, in the UI design. But I think ideally, like session, I could just like series start a session. It should start, so no interface at all or minimal interface, and it should
Then
run. Probably you could do automation like turn the bulb red and then to indicate if you're working from home, like you're working to your parents so they don't disturb you.
got it. So basically, hyper functional apps. Um,
Yeah, it should be invisible. For example, I really like something like Uber or food delivery app right now. You just click on the menu and then the menu come to you, right? I mean, if you think about it, that's crazy. You're pressing a screen and then it came to your doorstep. That's insane.
That is true. That is true. Like in India, we have these apps called Swiggy and Zomato, incredibly well built. Like I am just in awe, like because I know how hard it is to build something like that, not just from an app development perspective, but just a sheer operational infrastructure perspective. Like
Yeah,
Jesus,
true.
freaking like wow, that's incredible. Like the scale of these apps, which gives me a lot of hope. Like damn, we can do some such interesting things in this space. And do you think there are questions that I have missed when it comes to apps that you'd like the public to know?
Hmm. Let me think about it. No, I think it's golden.
Yeah, because I realized like I had a lot more questions, and then you establish the first principles that like don't focus on the design of the problem, and then figuring that out like the most fundamental things, and then I'm like, huh, this answers like so many of these questions at once.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to make money, right? This, that's
I am
that,
not.
that's stupid. But many people are afraid to ask for money.
Yeah. And to finish up now, we're approaching the 2 hour mark. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Bias toward action.
What?
Bias toward action.
What? What's that?
Do you know bias? BIAS,
Yeah.
towards action.
Towards action. Bias towards action. Okay. Ah.
So don't think too much, just do, because if you don't do, you only die wondering. But if you do, you wouldn't regret it.
True, true. And if you could make anybody do one thing every day, and that could be anything that you would want them to do to improve their lives, like what would you make them do?
Exercise, take care of your health, because I mean, my parents told me about that all the times, and I like, I just shrug it off.
Yeah.
Now I understand, because if you're sick or unfit, um, you just want to fix that. The rest doesn't matter.
True. True.
So take care of
And
your health. Just don't eat sugar, not too much. Just exercise.
what do you aspire to now? You're somebody that's built. Well, you're financially free, making really good money, and you're living in a beautiful country. And what are you looking towards now, if you are?
Many people told me it's time to make kids.
It's time to make it.
Yeah, kids.
Make kids. Oh,
Yeah, because
better get on it.
Yeah, because it's already finished. I need a new purpose.
And are you inclined towards children?
Yeah, because I mean, like, um, do you believe in evolution?
I do.
I mean, it's really special if you're coming from monkey. I'm not monkey, but from your ancestor until now. I mean, the fact that we're still here, it's for me, it's amazing
It is. It is.
because it's natural selection, right? I mean, everyone is special because you're here. I mean, there's no point of not having a child because you're not that special. Why should the line stop on you?
That's true.
Yeah, at least that's my thinking. You're not that special that it should stop on your end.
Yeah, and I also think when it comes to children, I know a lot of people don't are looking saying no to children now, and something that gets me is like you do not know what it's like at the end of your life, and you're not accounting for that at all. Like because I see my dad, and he's quite old, and without a family, like I cannot imagine how difficult it would be.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
and even if you have all the money in the world, the kind of support you need as you grow beyond your 40s, 50s, 60s is quite different from what you think you need now. And people just do not keep that into account. And it's also a beautiful thing. Yes, it sucks, like, but so does everything else. You want to make money, you have to work hard and learn X, Y, and Z. Like, it's always gonna be hard. And I don't think that should be an excuse not to do something like that.
True.
Yeah, I've also been thinking about kids lately. So
Huh?
I said,
Really?
hmm?
You're trying to get babies?
No, I think I was just thinking about do I want kids or not, and then I
Ah,
realized
yeah.
like of course I do. Like this makes sense. Like not only just makes sense, it also feels right. Like I want to train like a little demon. Like, let him do the chores. Like
Uh,
I want to be the annoying dad. This like I
yeah.
want to embarrass my kids, of course.
You want boys or girls?
I don't mind either. I don't mind either. But yeah, man,
Okay.
that wraps up the episode. Let me know if there's anything you feel like I've missed. We can cover it either in another one or even right now. But I really enjoyed this.
Me too. Thank you so much, Krishna.
And that wraps up another episode. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, do like and subscribe. If you didn't, leave feedback. I'd love to understand what went wrong. You can find all our links, including Philip's, in the description below. And yeah, see ya.